Good morning, everyone. Mitch Jackson, Morning Coffee with my dear friend and one of the most talented lawyers that I've come across in 30 plus years, Karima Gulick. Karima, it's so good to see you this morning.
Great to see you too, Mitch. Thank you so much for chatting with me today and for waking up so early to have this call with me.
Yeah, rub that in a little bit. This is interesting, you guys, because normally Karima is in my neck of the woods here in Southern California, and we're talking about getting up early. And she just rubbed a little salt in my wound. You're joining us from Morocco this morning. What time is it there, and what brings you to Morocco?
It is 4 p.m. right now.
Wow.
And I came here for the Thanksgiving break, and usually the end of the year. My parents, my family still all lives here. And actually, when I started my practice, I wanted to go into a practice area that would allow me to work remotely. So IP, patents, trademarks, our offices are in DC. It's all electronic work, so it kind of lends itself to being able to work remotely.
Got it.
Had to adjust a little bit my hours, so I do most of the meetings morning time, Pacific time, unless there are emergencies. So yeah,
You got
it's
more
great.
going on. You got more going on. And that just doesn't surprise me at all. And for everyone that hasn't had the pleasure of watching Karima's content, her videos, which you're just killing it on the platforms, by the way. I love your content. I love the new effort. Let me just share a little background about Karima Gulick. She's a IP lawyer who does a lot of patent law, especially in the new Web3 and AI spaces. She's an aeronautical engineer, a private pilot, someone that travels all over the world. She has her own law firm. And when we connected back in the day, she's one of the few people who I met, or I thought to my lawyers who I met, who I thought to myself, this person is just, uh, blowing me away. I'm so impressed, Karima, by all that you're doing. And that's why it's just really a pleasure to be your friend and to refer my IP clients to you, which I really enjoy doing. So much so, even some family members I've had reach out to you for IP advice. So I do trust what Karima has to say. This show is all about Web3, AI, the metaverse, bringing people in from around the world that are doing amazing things. And when she's not up in Alaska practicing her bush pilot landings or traveling the plains of Kenya on trips, or in Morocco this morning, she's here in Orange County, California, helping her clients. And Karima, let me just start off with what got you interested in technology? What got you interested in becoming an aeronautical engineer?
Yeah, that's a really good question. And technology in general, you know, actually, like when I was in high school, at some point math got a little hard for me, and it was an effort to actually go in and start getting better at it. And I did get better at it. And then I'm like, this is really fun. I can enjoy that. And so yeah, so math, physics became fun for me. I've always loved anything that defies gravity. Planes, rockets, anything like that has always been fascinating to me. So, yeah, um,
Did you
I
grow up
couldn't
with a
fly.
family of engineers, or?
No, not at all. My dad is a physician. My mom had a few different businesses. So no, yeah. But they always told me, they're like, you know what? If you have an inkling towards that, just do it. You can always go back and do anything else. It'll open more doors. It'll be hard to go back into engineering afterwards. So that was kind of the logic that they kind of, yeah, taught me growing up. So yeah, but honestly, it's just that, like, I'm always fascinated. I think ever since I was a kid, also, like, just opening random toys, trying to understand whatever was inside, like the remote controls, like whatever I could get my hands on, just to try to understand and fix things.
Okay.
Sometimes not always fixing things, but always, just learning.
Well, you've always been interested. Every time I talk to you, you talk about, I know you're a private pilot and aeronautical engineer. So you took that early interest in engineering and went to school and became an aeronautical engineer. I don't know any other
Mhm.
aeronautical engineers. You're the only one I know. That's pretty darn impressive. What is that? What is that? And how did that help you when you decided to become a lawyer and practice in the particular IP space that you practice in?
Yeah, so I honestly didn't really like think about becoming an attorney until I was in undergrad a few years in. Joined Model UN, joined Model US Senate. Loved writing papers, loved arguing, advocating for my position in front of others. So I started looking into it. But as far as aeronautical engineering, aerospace engineering in general, if you're in the aeronautical field building aircrafts, usually you end up either doing structural analysis, testing the strength, endurance, fatigue on like big different materials and testing that. So either you're in that, which is what I started in, building pilot controls and actuation system for a little while, and then after that switched to cabin system wiring, lighting inside the cabin, and then did a little bit of software like to coding for in-flight entertainment, and those could have been fun too. But in general, if you go in for aerospace engineering or aeronautical as one of the specialties, you end up really just mostly becoming either a systems engineer or going. I have friends who are, currently like a director of launch operations for some of the space programs, and it's fun. I love also like seeing that you can literally do anything that you want. You
And that's what's fun. It's like you're always doing something new. You're always pushing the boundaries, whether it's Toastmasters, whether it's, taking cases to court, helping your
Yeah.
clients with innovative patent issues. And we're already getting questions, and I want everyone to know I see your questions. I will be asking your questions, but I do want to get through some groundwork with Karima before we dive into
And
your.
I have to say, Mitch, same with you. Honestly, like when I launched my practice 7 years ago, you're one of the like role models out there. I found you through your conversations with Nicole, and literally, and then we met in person. I met you, met Lisa. You guys are exactly what you are online. You are. I mean, you've been very consistent with all of it from the very beginning. It's always been about genuine connection and building those connection with those people. Really being part of a community, whether that's in Orange County in Laguna Niguel, and I know you do a lot of work with Rotary, or within whatever community you go in, you always try to leave it a better place than what you came in with, and it's always
Correct.
like really contributing a lot in any of those
Thank you.
spaces. And, yeah.
But you brought that up, and I'm glad you did, because I think it's really important for people thinking about building out their online presence, their brands, right? Their referral networking basis and things like this. We did meet, and Lisa and I, my wife and I, who I met in law school, everyone, we practiced together. We grabbed breakfast with Karima the first time down at Dana Point, got to know each other, hit it off, and we've stayed in touch and had broken bread since then together. And you mentioned Nicole Abood,
Yes.
who we just
Mhm.
love, right? So Nicole's
Yeah.
someone that I met online. I don't know if knew Nicole before digital, but that turned into a meaningful
Mhm.
friendship. We took those online relationships into offline hugs. Nicole and I have spoken at events together, and we were at her wedding, which was really cool. And I think that's what's really neat about these types of platforms is you can meet people from all over the world, locally, nationally, or globally, and you can turn it into real relationships. And you're one of those with Lisa and me, Karima. So I want you to know that. Really appreciate it. Hey, let's get back to you, because that's the important stuff. All right. I know you're an IP lawyer, and you are really interested in all the changes that we've been seeing, all the different new approaches and techniques, the new legal issues when it comes to Web3, when it comes to artificial intelligence and intellectual property and patent law. Let's talk a little bit about AI and patent law. What's going on right now in this space? What do creators and business owners and entrepreneurs need to pay attention to? And what are you interested in when it comes to AI and patent law?
Yeah. So Mitch, we deal a lot with startups, companies, dealing with their Series A, Series B, potentially going public. So we do a lot of software, hardware. We also do a lot of consumer products. So I mean, in the last few years, almost anyone dealing with any sort of software or hardware is actually adding AI or instance learning, machine learning to their invention. Um, the clear rule that was passed a few years ago is the addition of AI to something that's already existing. Um, the simple addition of AI to an invention or to a system or something that was already existing, a process method, the simple addition of it does not render that invention patentable. So if you're just taking something that already exists, now you're adding AI to it, it's not patentable. However, a lot of times adding AI to something that's already existing comes with its own challenges, with its own, with its own technical difficulties that you have to overcome. And that's what I tell a lot of my inventors, like even the ones trying to combine a few things to make something new. There's always, not always, but a lot of times in that inventive step where that patentability could lie in some of those technical challenges that you face, that you have, that you were able to overcome. So as you're building something, always keep track of your notes, keep track of what you're doing, have detailed, have detailed nose drawings of everything that you're doing, because there could be something that you might be overlooking there. However, but also knowing that just because you're adding AI to something that's already existing, you know, not going to be patentable.
Let me jump in with a quick question, because maybe
Mhm.
we jumped the gun just a little bit based upon my community's interest and expertise. I have a couple of questions. Is there any chance Karima can describe, like, what exactly is a patent? Why would I want a patent for my products or
Mhm.
services? Are you able to maybe?
Absolutely. Of course, yes. It's fun because there's a lot of attorneys who don't know the difference, and a lot of times, unless you're in that space or dealing with businesses or dealing with intellectual property, it's most people will confuse patents, trademarks, copyrights, trade
Right.
secrets, but
That's
patents, no, not you. uh, but patents are a tool that allows you to have monopoly on that invention for 20 years. So really, it's an asset that allows you to only make that invention, or only allow others to make it and manufacture it with your authorization. So think of it as what I like to equate patents to a piece of property or a piece of land, where you can exclude others from coming into your invention, coming to your land without your permission, but also a great tool that you could utilize to generate income, license it, make money that way, but also stop others from even if they were to make it in another country, they still can't bring it to the country where you have a patent. So a patent
okay.
is a great tool for you to gain a competitive edge, and it's for inventions, systems, processes, devices, methods as well, that are new, unique, and non-obvious. So something that is new, something that no one else is doing exactly the same thing, and then non-obvious, like you're not just combining a couple of or more, two or more different things that are just in existence without anything more to it.
So, so thank you for that definition. We have friends joining us from the new Blue Sky platform, different
Welcome.
lawyers. Hey, everybody. And by the way, you guys, if you want to join me on Blue Sky, we're going to get Karima on Blue Sky this week as soon as she's back from
Yes.
Morocco. I'm Mitch.social on Blue Sky, everyone. It's a fantastic platform. No hate, all positivity, and amazing people. I wouldn't waste my time on the platform if I didn't think it was worthwhile. But we have a lot of creators on the platform, artists, builders in the metaverse spaces. Do patents apply to artists and creators, or is it just for what you described? Artwork, building a metaverse venue, things like that. Do they even apply to those types of activities?
Potentially, right? So sometimes in artists in developing their art will come up with a great method, or end up with a platform or something, or maybe like they develop tools to solve a problem within what they do. In that case, yes.
Okay.
But in general, and there's different types of patents as well. So we have your utility patents that covers the functionality, the way something works. You have the design patent, and design patents are to cover the way something feels and looks, the ornamental feature of it. A lot of times, art, fashion, things like that will fall under design patent, because they want to cover that that unique look of something. There's a lot of rights associated with design patents. Sometimes it's an underestimated tool,
So
oftentimes. So yeah,
they should probably check with someone like you. They should check with you
exactly.
and figure out, is this something that they need to protect that particular avenue of intellectual property law? I don't want to put you on the hook, but I've got John Messing asking a question. I'm going to put it up. John asked me to
Okay.
speak next week. I'll be speaking to the Arizona Bar Association about different ways lawyers can embrace artificial intelligence in their practices,
Mhm.
some of the things that we're doing, Karima. And so, John, thank you for that. For those listening, John asked, and I'll let you either answer this question or we can punt. Can one expect a revisiting of State Street given the changes to administrative review of the recent Supreme Court term? Okay, that's beyond my pay grade. I don't know what John's talking about. Maybe you do. What are your thoughts on that, Karima?
I'm not, honestly, I'm not sure. I mean, we're seeing quite a bit of changes. And then a lot of times, with new administrations comes, it is we're dealing with the patent office, we're dealing with a government entity that sometimes there are changes that could potentially affect it, maybe directly or indirectly. So,
Hmm.
John, I don't really know to answer your question.
Uh, I'm paraphrasing a few questions that have come in, Karima. And John, thanks for that question, by the way. And I'm looking forward to next week. If somebody wants to meet with a patent attorney, okay, what are the steps? Like, how does that work? You make a phone call, you send an email, but how does the process work? And I know you share a lot of content on
Mhm.
one of your platforms that does really walk people through these steps. Maybe you could share where that platform is, and then, just a quick overview of how the process
Yeah.
works.
It's a really good question, and I always tell my potential clients, here's how to best prepare for that meeting with your patent attorney, just so that you're making the most out of it as well. A couple of things. So one, just having an idea or an invention in your head is not really that helpful. Sit down, take the time to flush out that idea or that invention. Put pen to paper, do a little bit of research, see what you're going up against, have your drawings, have sit down and actually try to come up with like a little prototype of different ways of making this, little drawings, whatever you could, whatever you can think of at the time. So that's usually what I recommend starting with. And then I recommend doing a search online. Like, keep it very broad. A lot of times people are worried about putting in their secret sauce or their invention online. Keep it as broad as possible, but also like in that industry or related to what you're planning on doing, just to see what you're going up against, whether there's a market for that. A lot of times it's also, getting a patent on something is a business decision. It's not a cheap
Mm,
asset to obtain. It's not a cheap asset to enforce either. So why are you doing that? Why are you getting that patent in the first place? Are you trying to, are you trying to be unique in the market, have a monopoly on that market? Are you trying to stop others from, copying or duplicating what you're doing? Are you trying to potentially license this to other companies that are in that field? Are you maybe potentially like looking to gather an IP portfolio, sell it to a company that will just acquire it outright? There's a lot of different
mm,
goals that can be had with a patent. So sitting down and then deciding on some of those goals, and you don't have to have like an actual answer at that time, but also just an inkling, knowing what your options are. And then what I also recommend doing is doing a little patent search online. Go through the USPT website. Google Patents is very intuitive, very easy to use. Put in some keywords, some high level keywords, and just go down that rabbit hole a little bit. See what's out there. See what's already been done. And really just sitting down and having that clarity of goals on what you want to do and what you want to be doing with whatever this invention, whatever problem you're solving in the world.
Is this available full turnkey? In other words, can somebody reach out and hire your firm or a patent lawyer to do these things for them? I know it would cost a little bit more, but can they just hand the ball off and let you run with it?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. But I always tell my clients, the more you come to me with a little bit of clarity on that vision, on what you want and your goals, the sooner we can get you to those goals and the faster we can get you to those goals.
Okay. And thank you, Karima. And it looks like, and I don't want to break this up too much, but these are questions I just want my community to get answers to, since
Yeah.
there's kind enough to ask them.
Absolutely. That's what we're here
Um,
for.
will artificial intelligence, eventually do all this for us automatically? And will AI monitor patents to make sure there are no patent violations or infringements?
That's a really, really good question. I mean, there's a lot of AI in the patent field right now. It's funny because when I started my practice 7 years ago, I was already using AI for proofreading of patent applications. Like, I mean, in
Really?
patent applications for every single invention, for example, we'll take the water bottle. This water bottle has a lot of different components in it, some hinges. Each element needs to be named out, and there has to be consistency throughout the entire document. So at first, it would take me hours to just sit down and make sure that like I'm consistent with everything. But then started using some AI software that basically just proofread and told me exactly where I'm missing a semicolon, where I'm missing this, like just to make sure. So AI for proofreading has existed for a very long time. Right now, if you I know there are some software applications or some platforms that will allow you to do some specific draft parts of a patent, background, etc., using AI. But you have to be very mindful of those things. We're dealing with very highly sensitive information, so that's something that
Mm,
we don't do. That's something that right now, just I'm keeping an open mind, but at the same time, I'm very I don't want anything training on our on our confidential information, anything like that. That so yeah so there are platforms out there that help. If you draft any parts of your application using AI, you're under a duty as a patent attorney, patent agent, to disclose that you actually used AI for whatever parts of
okay.
it that you used.
Interesting.
Um, yeah,
Why do you
there's
think that's the case? Because I, why would that be the case?
the patent office is very strict with a lot of like with I mean it's very highly regulated. I think they just want to make sure that whomever is working on that application isn't actually, if you're representing someone, if you're telling them that you're sitting down spending the time to do that, that you're actually spending the
Mhm.
time doing that. It's very it's very regulated as to what attorneys and agents are doing on behalf of their clients. So I think it's mostly just for clear, like for a little bit of transparency there.
Okay.
Um,
Transparency is always good.
yeah.
When it comes to transparency, we have some Web3 friends. Hey, everybody, blockchain. And I don't know if this
Mhm.
is something you've looked at, but pivoting over to the blockchain technology, pivoting over to is there a possibility in the future? What are your thoughts on patents being inscribed on, for example, a blockchain, listed with a blockchain, so that when
Mhm.
there are patent infringements, patent violations, the AI can instantly monitor what it's seeing online or what somebody's reporting with what's available because of the blockchain, and
Mhm.
maybe with a tap, a swipe, or a click, instantly determining through the algorithms on billions of data points whether or not there's a violation. Do you see that happening in the future at all, or is that?
I Honestly, I don't see why not, but up until right now, I've never even thought of it being that way. Yeah, that would be great. I'll actually do a little bit of research after our chat just to see what's out there. But
Yeah.
I love that, even even yeah, the use of blockchain to actually be able to monitor. I know there are AI platforms that will allow you to monitor what someone is doing. So you could
Mhm.
essentially, use AI to see whether somebody is currently infringing on your patents, and absolutely, it's definitely a tool that's currently being leveraged for that. But I love
Okay.
that application of blockchain for
Yeah.
specifically. Yeah.
I could see,
Yeah.
because you want full transparency, and I could see the patent office rolling out its own blockchain tool. And then, however they're registered now, it's electronically, obviously,
Mhm.
somehow linking that to the blockchain so that AI and lawyers can instantly, using AI, determine whether or not there's a violation. But even more important than that,
Mhm.
this will make you smile. Bernard Nomberg, one of our dear
Hi,
friends. I
Bernard.
love Bernard. Good morning, Bernard. It's good to see you. I hope all's well. Let's jump on a call. I'm going to reach out to you after today's show and try to get caught up, definitely. And we've got another good morning. It's good to see you, Neil. Thank you. Yeah, it's interesting how
I
all this
know.
technology works together, right?
Yeah.
And I think, give us some thoughts about why, as business owners, as entrepreneurs, as inventors, as lawyers, why we might want to keep our minds open to the new ways of using this technology. How can it help us? How can it help our clients? And why it's so important moving forward to stay on top of this stuff.
Um, as with any like evolving technology, and I honestly, I've been using AI for, just for personal use, like for, ways to make my life a little bit better, some research there, creating music sometimes, just fun, creative outlets. And it's just seeing how much it's grown in the last few years and how it continues to grow rapidly. It's just one of those things. You're either going to have to get on board, then and utilize it, view it as a tool, and utilize it to your benefit, or it's going to be one of those things where, back in the day where everybody moved to online and moved to e-filing and moved to paperless offices, and some people still like were stuck with paper after a while. So I feel like it's just one of those things that you're either going to have to jump on board and then keep an open mind and try to learn as much about it as possible, or most likely be left behind. But that's
I'm with you.
yeah.
I'm with you. I think it makes us, faster, better, and creates better client experiences. And
Mhm.
it's funny because I have, unlike you and unlike a lot of people, I have the distinct pleasure of remembering what it was like back in the day before all this technology, before the internet. Everybody, we get in the car, drive to the courthouse in the last minute, 4:30 in the afternoon, try to file something before 5. You're dealing with traffic. You're dealing with uncooperative court clerks. You're dealing with paper mistakes and spelling. And nowadays it's a couple of clicks and swipes. And that's why I was asking you about patents in the blockchain, because I think with this technology, it can really help us create better lives for ourselves as lawyers,
Mhm.
right? We can do in 30 seconds what maybe took us 2 hours in the past. So we can help more people. We can do more traveling. We can join morning shows in California all the way from Morocco and have lives that take us not only to Alaska, but to Kenya and every place else in between.
Yeah.
Karima, this was outstanding. I've got your law firm link down at the bottom. If people would like to reach out and follow up on this conversation, what's the best way for them to do so?
Yeah, honestly, either calling our office or emailing us directly. We're always really responsive. Someone will hop on the call right away with you, and usually you'll talk to me within a day or so. So,
All
yeah,
right.
website.
And so go through the website, get all the information, and when you call, you make sure you let Karima's front office know that Mitch Jackson and Lisa Wilson referred you over, and Karima will always roll out the red carpet for you. And when you get back into town, give me a call and let's grab lunch, okay?
That would be great. Thanks
All
so
right.
much.
You're welcome.
It was
Thanks
a
for
pleasure.
joining us. Oh, thank you. And thanks everyone for joining us. This was fun. Karima Gulick was my guest, and this is recorded. So share this with your family, your friends, your business associates, and your clients, and reach out to Karima with any additional questions or comments. Between now and the next time, enjoy the journey, everyone, and never stop making each day your masterpiece. All right, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.